Hello, thanks for joining me. I am Nia George. Welcome to Mr. and Mrs. George. This is a YouTube channel dedicated to celebrating all things Frank and Nia. As you may or may not know, Frank and I have gotten married a year ago, and this is our second marriage. So through this process, I've been documenting a lot of things about us, individually as well as together, in order to help us continue to grow and develop a stronger marriage and to be better off, naturally, better than we were in our first marriages. So this video is a continuation of the first one I did about a week ago, which gave tips on how to become one. So that was a question that I had, and a question that I posed to my therapist, and she gave me some really good tips, and I just want to share them with you so that you can grow from them or add more to them. So last week I did 1 through 5, and I have 22 items here. So this week I just will do another 5, okay? So this week we're starting off with resolve marriage problems without any external influences from family or friends. And so that is a tip that married couples should consider, is to resolve marriage problems without any external influences from family or friends. I wouldn't say I had that issue in my first marriage. My ex and I, we didn't take much of our issues outside of our marriage to family or friends. So we didn't have, even though I got married young, I got married at 21, I didn't have an influence of a butting in mother or butting in in-law in order to be able to cause any conflict there. However, I would say I wish we did have someone to give us more advice and kind of guidance to help nurture and help us develop. I do believe that was something we were lacking in my last marriage, was having marriage mentors. And so this time around, obviously Frank and I are older. I'm in my late 40s, and he is in his he's 50. So we have learned a lot, even from our last marriages that we had for many years. But not only that, we learned because we've had the opportunity to see how other people who have had long-term marriages navigate their marriage, and also other people who have had long-term marriages fail. And so we are able to glean that information from them. Another thing we're doing this time around that I didn't do in the last, and I will always just speak for myself and not for Frank, because he's not here to discuss his life, but so you'll hear me say I a lot. So, but one of the things we're doing this time that we didn't do the last time was really be intentional about our marriage and our covenant to God. And not only just say, okay, I'm getting married, I love this person, but be intentional in understanding what it means and how to be married. So that is a difference that we're doing this time. Not going into it thinking that, okay, being married, just, you go to have a wedding and now you're in it. But what does that mean? And how do you grow in it? And what are you supposed to do in it? What is the purpose of marriage? So the number 7 is to strive to always work better together and to understand each other better. So that is number 7. Strive to always work better together and to understand each other better. Number 8, acknowledge the other person's freedom to be their own authentic self. This is something so very important, and something that I constantly have to remind myself is that, one, I married a grown man, right? He was a whole grown man before he came into my life, making his own decisions, knowing how to do everything. And what makes me think now that just because this person married me, I should be the authority on what they eat, how they look, how they dress, what they do? Now, don't get me wrong. There are things that I can influence or have an opinion on and say, but I don't have the authority to try to make this person conform to my way of thinking. So that is something important that I think many people, not just people who get into marriage, people who get into relationships, even when you're dating, initially you love all the things about this person, but over time we begin to start trying to change or manipulate or make someone fit into a mold that we have established is the right way to be. So that's an important key, is to acknowledge the other person's freedom to be their own authentic self. Number 9, remembering there is no I in marriage. Instead, there is always a we. That is something that is, I would say, that's a continuous learning curve for all people, because we can always get into our head. Even when you're working on a team, when you're working at a company, anywhere, something in us just kicks in to where we start to begin to think that we're in this all alone, and that, our opinion is the only way to do things, and that our plan is what should be executed. And we forget that we are together. It's a we, it's not an I. And number 10, not comparing yourself to your spouse. That seemed like that would be a simple one, right? Not to compare yourself to your spouse. But I'm going to tell you something funny. It wasn't that simple for me, because Frank and I both work out a lot. We go to the gym, we eat all the healthy foods, we are very active. And I would say I'm very competitive. I don't think he's competitive, because he's singular focused sometimes. He knows what he's doing, and he could care less what I'm doing or what anyone else is doing. If I'm not eating right, it has no bearing on him. If he decides to not eat right, he don't try to persuade me. But I don't know. I'm not as singular focused like that. I'm more of a, I got to do something together with somebody, and I'm more competitive. So sometimes I get competitive and I compare myself to him. I don't know why, it just happens. And I always have to stop myself and say, I'm not in a competition with him. If he look good, I look good, and vice versa. And it's a we and not an I, and there's no reason to compete except on leg day at the gym. So those are the next 5 from our list of 22 tips to become one in your marriage. And so next week I'll bring an additional 5 to you. Hopefully this has been a benefit for you. It's been a benefit for me. I keep reading the list, and not only do I keep reading the list to become aware of them, but to practice implementing them. And they're not something that you're going to just read once and be like, okay, I got this, I'm done. It is a continuous process. And that's something that I'm learning. And those of you who follow me and know, I'm a yoga teacher. And I always say yoga is a practice. Well, I'm starting to think living my married life, it's a practice, right? It's something that I'm in for the rest of my life. And I have a lifetime to do it well. So each day I need to focus on getting better at the areas that I can get better in. It's not a race. I'm not going to be able to master everything every night or overnight or in a week. However, just setting the intention and being cognizant and aware, I can begin where I see that I can add change and add value to our relationship, right? Anyway, have a wonderful week. I look forward to seeing you again. If you haven't, again, check out our other videos. I even will now have, I think I uploaded one video of a yoga practice, a stretch practice. So I'll have a playlist for my stretch classes that I hold on Wednesdays. If you missed them, you can just go there and check them out. You'll even be able to see some of Frank's baking activities. We have recorded a few of them and we'll start loading them up on YouTube as well. In addition to really just continuing to bring you great content about marriage, how we're navigating marriage, how we are growing closer together, and looking to really build community with you as well. Subscribe, like our channel, and share it. We need to share the good news wherever we can. All right, have a great week. Till we see each other again. Bye.